Hey everyone, Hans here with, as always, a quick Clay video. Today we're talking Clay updates. So Clay are a company who are shipping updates to their platform really frequently. That's the cool thing about the startup life, I guess. But for us end users, that can mean that sometimes maybe you feel a little bit lost, like you haven't been in the platform for a while. All of a sudden things are out of place. Maybe they have a different name. Maybe they look different, or maybe you just feel like you're missing out on all this cool stuff that they're shipping that maybe other people are talking about, and you're not 100% sure what it is because you've been busy. So if that's the case, then this video is for you. Today we're going to talk about waterfalls, adding formulas to waterfalls, about workbooks, and some small other updates and tweaks as well that I'm excited about. As always, when it comes to Clay, I'm very excited to get started and to dive in. So let's do it. Here we are in Clay. To add a custom waterfall, you go to waterfall right here. Then you can add different actions. You have integrations, which are your usual integrations, and then you have tools, which is where you can add formulas. So let's go with Clearbit, Enrich Company, and then we could say let's get the company description from Clearbit. That's great. Then let's see, people, data labs. There we go. Enrich company. We should have that. There we go. From them, we get the company size, for example, just a really basic waterfall. So we get the description from Clearbit because they had 100% match rate. The second column didn't run at all. So you could use this to get company descriptions. You could say, okay, here we have this waterfall that that I want to use to get company descriptions. Previously, you had to build that out with all these conditional formulas and all that, but now you can just build a custom waterfall that does that for you. And as far as I can tell, a couple of things you should know about this is that it only, as far as I can tell, runs, and at the time of recording this video, runs with integrations that are native to Clay, and you cannot save custom waterfalls yet, but that's something that they're working on from what I can tell. But for now, you can use this instead of using all these different conditional formulas. You can just set up waterfalls this way, which is really helpful. Then the next big one for me was workbooks. So what that looks like, you can think of that as like a Google sheet. We have different tabs. Now Clay has the same thing. So as you can see here, you have like an overview, and here you have these different tabs. So this is an overview of what this workbook does. So these, imagine you have tables that are connected to each other that belong to the same workflow. You can now add them to a workbook. So here, for example, I have a LinkedIn monitoring workbook where we check LinkedIn for for posts from these people, then qualify them, and then whenever we find a post, we get people commenting on that post, and we write them to a new table, which now is this table. I can keep them all nice and neat together in my workbook right here. So because these tables, they belong together, I can now really easily organize things this way. For me, it's it took me a while to get used to, but it's a pretty big update and pretty big upgrade that I'm pretty excited about. And then imagine that, okay, now I have the seed list. I'm getting these posts. I'm finding the profiles. And then here, for example, I could say, okay, then for these people find jobs, for example, or for this workbook, then, I have these, and then let's get lookalikes, but I want that to be in a different table altogether in one workbook. And imagine that this is a play that I want to repeat across different clients, for example, then I can just go here and duplicate the workbook, because this is actually a play that I would set up for different clients. So then the cool part, if you're running an agency, you can have this playbook, which is a LinkedIn monitoring playbook or workbook. Then you can have one where you're checking for job changes, and then finding the right contacts and adding to smartly. Okay, this workbook number 2, but you want to do the same thing for every client. Great, you duplicate it, you swap out some variables, and there you go. So it took some convincing, but I'm a big fan of workbooks, which this was one of my favorites. But I'll I'll do a separate video on that one. And another one, so they're starting to add signals. So one of them is a job change tracker where you could say, okay, this is my CRM, or here's a big, CSV of all the people that I want to keep tabs on. And whenever they change their job, I want to be informed about it. So that in itself is a pretty big update. They're adding signals, and the first one that they shipped is a job change one. So you can set that up if you want, either from your CRM or from a file. And then what they also added, so you can use a people table. You can set up different conditions that you want to track. And then what they added recently is a confidence score. So you could say, because in the end, sometimes it's not 100% accurate, right? So sometimes someone didn't change their job, or it's a different person. You can detect that and say, only if the confidence score. So they give you that here, the confidence score. Only if the confidence score is above X, then actually sync it with my CRM, for example. That's a small update that they added to their signal tracker. There's that one. Then another one that was requested a lot is the edit source one, where so here I have a table. I use their find companies function. Then if you go here, you go to sources, and then this is the original source. You can edit that source easily, and it will save all your previous settings, and you just edit your original source, and then you can find new companies and you can make some tweaks to it, so you don't have to start from scratch with that one, which I know a lot of people requested. So that is pretty exciting as well. And then there's the AI hub. Let me see. So imagine I want to use AI on this. It's a small UX tweak, but you can just go and say use AI, and here they have use AI, and then you can say, okay, content creation, web research, different models. You have your templates there and everything. So there's a small tweak that they made to UX. They have other UX tweaks as well that I'm sure you'll be running into as you're using Clay. Some we love, some we don't love, but that's all part of the Clay experience. The one I cannot show you right now, but I definitely encourage you to look for it if you're a Salesforce user, is the Salesforce package. So that means you can run Clay workflows directly from Salesforce, which is a really exciting upgrade. As far as I know, it's only available for enterprise clients or for enterprise. But if you're a heavy, Clay and Salesforce user, then it's probably worth it. If you're not, then stay on the lookout for one of my next videos that I'm going to do, where I'm going to hack that package, if you would like to call that, where we're using Zapier to sort of work around that. So instead of having to pay, I don't know how much per year for the enterprise package, we can do it for, practically for free. And then another small one that they pushed is the credit preview. So imagine you have a row here and you're not sure what running it will cost you. You can right click on it and it will show you approximately, so the estimate of the number of Clay credits it will cost you to run that row. I think it also works for multiple rows. Let's have a look. Yeah, it does. So imagine you will run that. It will cost you approximately around 52 credits. So that's another tiny tweak that you may find interesting. That was it for me. Some pretty exciting updates in there. Would love to hear from you what you think the best update is. But either way, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.